evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Ainaro in East Timor. Now, Ainaro, like I say, is a very small place in a very small country. So, not much is really demarcated here on the map. It's about right here. The village of Ainaro being right about there. Sorry for the loud motorcycle outside. Hello. Okay. You can see the city here, Batano. This is like just on the edge of the limits of the area. So it's like to the left of here. It's about right about here. Like most of East Timor, it is very mountainous. Timor is an island with kind of like a mountain spine going through it, as you can see here. But there's a beautiful little stretch of mountains right here that creates a neat little valley and lots of waterways coming down from the mountains here, creating lots of fertile land here for things like coffee, vegetables. I'm not sure about rice farming, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's my upstairs neighbor saying hello by stomping around, if you can hear that. It's a loud night, apparently. We're talking about East Timor. The biggest landmark in this part of East Timor is this mountain right here. Its, I guess, name in English is Mount Ramelau, but in the language here, it is called Tatamilo, which means grandfather, which I really like. It is the highest point in East Timor, or as the rest of the world knows it, it's Timor-Leste. East Timor is what we call it in America. And like I said in my last video about East Timor, Leste means east. The country is east. Just a little facts for you. Now, East Timor is a Portuguese-speaking country, but the people here mostly speak a indigenous language that's called Mombay. I believe it's pronounced maybe Mumbai. Never actually heard anyone say the name of this language, so I just assume Mumbai or Mumbai. I am not sure. But, I think that's really interesting. It's mostly in this center area where that indigenous language is still spoken. And you can see that the region has a coastline here on the Timor Sea. It's really pretty. We'll take a look at Google Earth in a moment. But let's talk about the history of this area. It seems like a little corner of a little country where really not much happened throughout most of the history. The area was a colony of the Portuguese for a long time. Pretty much all of what's now Indonesia was colonized by the Portuguese, and their area shrank until it was pretty much just what's now Timor-Leste. And then Portugal had a pretty big revolution where they switched from a dictatorship to a democracy, and that new government was like, we want no colonies, we are no longer colonizers. The people here wanted to make their own country. The country of Indonesia did not like that idea. They pretty much had de facto control over the territory while Portugal was having issues, so they wanted to remain in charge and make this area part of Indonesia. Not to mention, like, the rest of Timor, you can see here, is part of Indonesia. So when the people here had a referendum and they voted for independence, Indonesia was very offended and they invaded. And it was a very violent invasion and a very violent occupation. Any resistance was met with very extreme violence, and that was no different here in Ainaro. The mountains here made nice little handy spots for guerrilla fighters to hide and plan. A lot of that happened in Ainaro. So the Indonesians responded by establishing like military centers here to try to keep watch on the area. And at one point, they implemented their kind of like last ditch efforts to fight back with a scorched earth policy, and pretty much the entire town of Ainaro was burnt to the ground. But it wasn't until the 1990s when kind of the rest of the world realized what was happening over here, and they told Indonesia to knock it off. Timor-Leste gained its independence, and the little village, from what I can tell, has bounced back. So, a little corner where not much happened until so much happened, right? And now it's just a little quiet mountain town where pretty much nothing goes on now. So, very peaceful and very beautiful. Let me pull out my tablet and show you on Google Earth. Make sure it's facing the right way. Okay. So here we are. So I'm still on Algeria. I just filmed that. Stop that. Okay. You can't see. There we go. Disregard that. You saw nothing. Here's Timor-Leste. I'm going to go like this so I can zoom out so you can see exactly where Timor-Leste or East Timor is located. So you can see here's Indonesia. Down here's Australia. Philippines is right there, Papua New Guinea, so on and so forth. That's where the country's located. Yes, they have a little exclave, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Ainaro. Let's see. Oh, that's right. It's so little it doesn't pop up on Google Earth. The town is right here. Yep. There you go. It's like, here we go. Ainaro. There it is. Okay. This is the town. This is like the capital area. Very pretty. It's really pretty when you zoom out and you realize the beautiful mountains that are here. Like I said, a little branch there, and there's a gorgeous valley that creates like rivers that flow out to the sea. It's so gorgeous. Let me show you Tatsumilo. Big mountain up here. Isn't that a gorgeous photograph, by the way? There's the mountain. The view from above, you can see the sea there. There's a beautiful statue of the Virgin Mary at the very top. It being a former Portuguese colony, they brought the Catholicism with them, and it's a very Catholic area. This guy's all bundled up. There's they've got their drone taking a picture of them up at the top of the mountain. Look how beautiful this place is. There's the flag. Yeah, a very, very gorgeous mountaintop with beautiful views. You can see I guess that's the entrance there to climb up. He's got his horse there. Isn't that gorgeous? Ooh, that's a really neat photo. Some work there with the green. Okay. We can see. I don't want to get lost. There we go. Ainaro. That's where we are. You can see it's like in a valley, which I think is really neat. There's a really pretty waterfall somewhere up here, right here. I think this is it. It's not. That's not it. I wonder if I can find it again. It might have disappeared. That's too bad. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's within the boundaries. Let me see real quick. Nope, this is it. Okay. This is the waterfall I'm looking for. Gorgeous. Imagine going on a hike and finding this pretty spot. Oh, I'm so Neither are they. You can have your picnic there, the nice sandwich, enjoy the water, take beautiful photos, and enjoy the gorgeous nature. He kind of messed up this picture. I feel kind of bad. Maybe it was the photographer's fault, right? Look at this road. Pew, through the mountains. It's a little treacherous, but this guy doesn't mind. Look how pretty. Okay, I found the waterfall. I'm really glad. Then we head out here. Out to the water. And we've got some beachy areas, but it doesn't really seem like the kind of beachy area where it's like get your towel, get your surfboard, bring your swimsuit. It just kind of seems like a beach. It's like a plain little beach, right? Nothing to write home about, really. Here we go. This is the area here. Lots of greenery, though. I assume kind of like mangrovey swampy because it's very humid and tropical. Lots of cool mountains and things. Timor-Leste is such a beautiful place. The country is kind of going through like a lot in terms of economy, but I really hope that someday they can get like a really good tourist industry going, because I imagine ecotourism here would be extremely profitable because it is such a lovely little corner. Look at these peaks. I wish I could show you more of this island, but we're just focusing on a little corner in a little country. Let's see if there's any cool 360 shots. I didn't check for these. I would be kind of surprised if there was. Let's look down at the city here. The city, the town. It's very little. No, I don't see any. But that's okay. It's just a little corner in a little part of the world. And that's fine. I think I'm going to end it there. Because again, I could just zoom around and look at these beautiful valleys and mountains all day long. But I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for watching. Look at this church. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Ooh, they won a tournament, probably. Way to go. Next on my channel, we will be heading to Palau. And I hope you would join me over there. Thank you again, and I hope that you have a very good